toward her apartment, but not so fast as to arouse suspicion. This wasn't the first time I'd done this. I busted my cherry years ago. It wouldn't be the last time either. I was certain of that even then. The thought didn't bother me. I had a job to do. I was less than a quarter of a block behind her when she turned left down the street toward her apartment. I watched as she flipped the butt of her cigarette onto the sidewalk and put it out with a twist of her foot. Then she started down the even quieter, tree-lined street that she lived on. When I was sure that she couldn't see me, I jogged across the street. As I did, I pulled a pair of thin black leather gloves out of my bag and slipped them onto my hands. It was darker on this side street. There were fewer streetlights. She was moving quickly now, faster than I suspect she normally would. I don't think she saw me, but she must have sensed something. This was normal. It was some sort of sixth sense, a sinking feeling of impending tragedy. She didn't dare look back, not yet. With a few long strides, I closed the distance between us to little more than 10 feet. It was clear now that she knew I was following her. She still hadn't seen me. She simply felt me behind her. She could have screamed now, but I knew that she wouldn't. She wouldn't risk the embarrassment. After all, I might have been one of her neighbors returning home just like she was. She'd been out of the game for a while. She'd lost the ability to trust her instincts. I watched as she put her hand back into her purse. She could have been reaching for anything. I watched her hand. If she pulled out a gun, mace, even a cell phone, I would have had to move faster than I wanted to. I would have had to grab her wrist, twist it, and force her to let whatever she was holding go. I didn't have to, though. I heard a slight jingling sound. She was just reaching for her keys. There were shadows on the sidewalk from the trees, and she stepped quickly between the darkness and the light. 3 more houses, and she would make a left turn toward a brownstone. I did my best to control my pulse. Adrenaline that I hoped I wouldn't need, began to flow through my system. Physically, her reaction likely mirrored mine. She began to walk faster, but she still refused to run. I kept my strides long and even and was able to close the gap between us until I was almost touching her. By now, she knew. She must have. I was a mere pace and a half behind her. She must have been all but resigned to her fate. Certain thoughts would be flying through her head, regrets, thoughts about what she could have done differently to save herself. I'm sure she was thinking that it was stupid for her to walk home alone at night, even though she'd done it hundreds of times before. It had been years of pleasant walks home through the quiet Brooklyn streets after an honest day's work. This was her home. 12 years, 2 children. Who knows how many fond memories. Could she still scream? What if her screams woke up her kids? She wouldn't want to frighten them, I knew. So what could she have done differently? She could have hugged her kids this morning. She could have told them how much she loved them. She could have not yelled at the poor 4-year-old Eric after he spilled his Cheerios on the kitchen floor. I thought back to that moment earlier in the day as I watched her through her kitchen window from the stoop across the street. I would have liked to have said something to her. I would have liked to let her know how much she would regret yelling at her kid like that. Let him spill, I thought when it happened. Let him spill. Of course, I didn't say a word. Now, 1 building from her home, I ran through my plan again in my head. As I did so, she turned left and pushed open the small gate that led to her apartment. I was close enough behind her that I was able to catch the gate before it clicked closed. I could hear her breathing now. I could hear the sounds of the television from her apartment. The babysitter must have been watching TV. I couldn't see her face, but could imagine her expression. At that moment, her face would be full of one of 2 things, panic or determination. I had seen both before. I could only hope for determination. Panic could make things messy. She was about to place her foot on the first of the steps that led up to her apartment door. Before she could, I reached forward and grabbed her wrist tightly. I went for the hand with the keys so that she would not be able to